Someone who describes herself as life sync expert. I've never heard it before. A life sync expert. Monfik Ryan Abu joins us right here in our Lagos studio. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
This is a new one, life sync expert.
Yes.
So walk us through what that means first of all, before we get to what you do.
Yeah. So a life sync expert is the person that will help you to be able to identify the potential that you have vis-a-vis the job that you're currently doing, to show you how you can fully maximize that your potential, your experience, your expertise, your skill set. And it is life sync expert is somebody that helps you to also build your confidence, build your mindset, help you to lead yourself. Because there are certain situations in life that we face that we lose sense of ourselves, and it holds us back. A lot of people are depressed these days. They are stressed out. They are burnt out because of work pressures and all the things we face trying to navigate our work, our family, our social life, our self-care, and everything. So a life sync expert helps you to put it together in perfect synchrony. So you look at every aspect of your life and measure it and help you to have that synchronicity between every aspect of your life. It's not about equilibrium, it's about synchronicity.
It sounds simple, but it's a bit complicated, because that looks like an average Nigerian home problem. A lot of people, as soon as children come in, they literally throw their lives away because what they have is not enough to go around. So this is an important conversation. So
thank you.
How much of work is involved in ensuring this balance in the life of, say, let's begin with a woman, because there's a lot of burden on the woman.
There's a lot of work, and it starts with the self. For women, the burden is so much, the societal burden, the family burden. Then as a woman, we kind of give up ourselves for the good of the family. Then we realize that who we are as individuals kind of takes a back seat. It happened to me from personal experience. I started my work life, I worked in the bank for 13 years, between 2001 to 2015. Then I started my own business subsequently. But I was actually doing the business on the side while in the bank from 2008 till currently. Because I saw this gap, I saw a lot of my colleagues drowning because of the pressures of work life. Once you have a child, it's like your career has ended. It shouldn't be the case, because as young girls, we all had dreams and ambitions. We all had education. Some of us even have PhDs and everything. I know so many women that are just, their life is just like in a standstill at the moment because they are raising children. But the irony is, after a while, these children leave you and move on with their lives. Then you now can't fill that void that you now have, obviously, because they are gone. And you can't get back to work because you've had so much gaps. You don't even know the skill set that you have, the potential, the expertise that you can bring to add value to people so that they can pay you based on your expertise or experience. So that is that gap I wanted to fill, so that women can stop sinking, so they will have synchronicity.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice. For the sake of balance, let's talk about the men as well. So men too can lose themselves in that rat race trying to provide for the family. So they're not really pursuing fulfillment. They're pursuing survival. So at the end of the day, or at the end of the line, if they ever get to the end of the line, they look back and they're like, I was running the wrong race, running with the wrong people, running with the wrong skill set. So for the sake of balance, help us to balance it for men.
Yes. Men go through this a lot as much as women, because for the man, it's like, I have 4 sons and 2 daughters. So it's something, I have a 23-year-old son that is so worried right now that, Mommy, I don't have a job.
Are you talking about yourself or you're talking about someone else?
Myself.
Okay, go on.
Myself.
Beautiful.
Yes, I do. I have 4 sons and 2 daughters between the ages of 27. The youngest is 16. So, yeah.
That's a conversation we need to have.
True story. True story. So I know my children, my sons especially, are already feeling this burden. They don't have jobs yet. They don't have families yet, but they are already worried How do I fend for my family? I need to get a job. I need to make something of ourselves. So every person has that need to fulfill themselves. If it's for survival, if it's to provide for the home, if it's just to do something you love, every person has it. So LifeSync helps you to fulfill that self-actualization need that everybody needs, because the first thing we do in the principles that we share, and we created a course around it called the LifeSync Accelerator Coaching Program. We also have an academy where we work with young people and career people and business people as well to help them to synchronize. It's called the LifeSync Academy, because LifeSync is a lifestyle. You need to first of all look at your values. So what I would tell the man is, what is valuable to you? You know, what do you hold dear? What are your principles as a person? Then you need to look at your time management. Then you need to look at how you set goals. What are you envisioning for yourself? What are the targets that you have? How do you prioritize self-care? Then most especially, how do you evaluate challenges? The problem that we have in Nigeria, and I had the opportunity to live overseas. I just returned to Nigeria just almost 2 years, so it's fairly recent. I wrote a book about resilience in Canada while I was there. I co-wrote, and it became a bestseller on Amazon for 6 weeks in 2020. And what are we talking about? Resilience. It also embedded into the LifeSync blueprint principles, because when you look at whether you live abroad or whether you live in Nigeria, challenges are constant. Pain is a constant. Adversity, obstacles.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I'm tempted to ask if you did the Jakbada thing.
Yes, I do the reverse Jakbada. I don't know what they call us now.
It's Jakbada.
Jakbada, yes,
so
that's what I did.
And the Jakbada. So you did Jakbada, and it's interesting that you are now able to speak from a position of, I want to say authority, but more experience.
Yes.
Because you've tasted, I don't want to use the word that will get me in trouble, but you've tasted from different points.
Yes.
And I think it just brings extra value to the work that you do. But I want to give you a practical example. Maybe help someone out there today.
Yeah.
So there's someone who has identified, obviously my life is not in sync. It's everywhere. But then those issues you talked about come into play. It's like you're flying a plane. You can't land immediately.
Yes.
You get, maybe the person discovered halfway. You have to wait till the end. So it's like, do I continue this, obviously knowing that it's not working for me, but I try to find a way to wind it down, or do cold turkey, because some say there's no point. If I've discovered that this is not working, let me pull out and start my life in that sense afresh. So what's the best approach to now coming back on track? Do you wind down gradually, or cold turkey?
Cold turkey doesn't help anyone, I don't think, because when you detach completely, what have you learned from the experience? It's like you are avoiding something that will still come back and bite you. That's how I see it. Because you're a human being, you're in the journey of life. Life is a journey. Now, if you set off for a journey right now, your GPS could fail. You know, there will be detours. There will be bad roads if you're in Nigeria. Your tire could just go flat. You know, you could lose your way. A lot of things happen. And the question is, are you not going to go to your destination? A real life example, you're going to the village to see a sick mother. And some of us now, to get to our villages, I'm from Edo State, Agbede is my village. The road from Benin to Agbede is like, when you from Lagos get to Benin, okay, you have enjoyed yourself, that's cool. Now start the journey from Benin to Agbede, oh my God, it's a whole thing. You know, but you have to get there. So life is a journey. So cold turkey would not help anyone. At the end of the day, you will still come back to what you left off, only worse than when you left it. So the key is to regroup. You know, so I specialize in mindset reset and self-leadership as a coach and a mentor to people, and also in my business consulting as well. At every point in time, you need to ask yourself, what is the lens I'm using to look at this thing? There are different lenses to look at life. You know, some people see a challenge and it doesn't even face them. I'm one of those people. Challenges excite me. Yeah, challenges make me think, what's the solution? Everything that I have done up until this point is from a vantage point of something extraordinary happened, and extraordinary not in a good way. I strongly believe that you can walk from a place you can walk, actually take one step after the other, from a place of adversity to a place of audacity. And we share that in the LifeSync Blueprint book. It's called the LifeSync alphabet, or we call it the adversity alphabet. So every alphabet in the word adversity can actually be reframed into something empowering. So what's the lens you're using to look at that thing? That's what I'll ask the person in real time. Depending on the challenge the person is facing, look at it with a different lens. It's very important to also have people, a good circle of people that you can trust, that look at you and understand you and believe in you. Seek opinion, seek advice, seek mentorship. Very important. And that's why we have the LifeSync Leadership Academy, because a lot of people are lost, truly. Because if you are doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, that's what they call insanity.
So
yeah,
let's bring some numeric posturing to what you do.
All right.
And that has to do with, in fact, I'm trying to say, can you help us unburden some burdens? Is there such a thing as 50-50? Or it's just a hoax?
50-50 in relationships?
Life-work balance?
Nothing like that. Nothing. And that's why the subtitle of the book is called The Practical Principles to Overcome the Burden of Balance. The reason people are sinking and they don't have synchronicity is because they think there's equilibrium. There's 50-50. And that's a huge lie. There is life in our work and there's work in our life. Yes. So there's nothing like work-life balance.
Does that mean when I get home I still pick up my laptop and work? Is that what you mean by this?
You are living your life at the moment. You are communicating. You are expressing yourself, you are relating with people, you are eating, you are drinking. That is life. How are you doing it every moment as you are here? You get home, you are communicating, you are speaking, you are eating, you are drinking.
Replying mails.
Replying mails.
That is life. As well?
Yes, no. So with the LifeSync Blueprint, we encourage you, the physical activities that you have to do at work, try to set boundaries so that those physical activities do not cascade into the home. Yeah. So to his question about 50-50, what happens is, and that's why I said there's life in our work and there's work in our life. So work-life balance actually doesn't exist. Because there's life in work and work in life is about synchronicity. How do you integrate life with work? Now, how did I raise 6 kids all through the banking industry for 13 years? And my kids are normal, good, well-behaved children. I can beat my chest. You can ask anybody that is close to me. I'm so proud because I lost my mom when I was 19 years old. And I'm the oldest. And it was so important for me to raise my kids the right way based on the values, spiritual values, moral values, and all of the things. So I found myself when we moved to Canada when they were in secondary school. So I went with them because I didn't want the environment to negatively influence them spiritually, morally, and psychologically. You understand? So everything I have done has been centered around my children. That's what LifeSync means. When I say life is in work and work is in life, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. Even if I was a banker for 13 years, that doesn't remove that I'm a wife and a mother, sometimes first, before I'm a bank worker or a banker, whatever they call it. So in the day, while in the bank, I schedule time for my family. Even if I will spend the entire day at work, my family will be top of mind. In meetings, if I have to run into the bathroom to do it, whatever it is, then times I can go and pick them from school, I relish those moments. Sometimes I get to drop them in the morning before I go to work. I relish those moments. It is hard because of traffic, proximity to the office, but it's about intentionality. LifeSync Blueprint is about intentional living, based on your value systems, based on the things you hold dear to your heart. Living a life of fulfillment, not because my job is stressful, I'm going to be stressed out all the time. It's a decision. It's the lens you use to look at the world. Sometimes the job is...
No. Not on your thoughts. I'm enjoying what you're saying, but I have a follow-up question.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me hear you.
Okay, so since you've allowed me to come in, I just wanted you to land on your thought, because that brings us to another question. Safe spaces in workplaces, quite critical for everybody. Let's not say women now, let's say women and men. Because COVID, because COVID taught us a big lesson of what is really important in life. All of a sudden, everybody realized, okay, the world can actually stop. Because sometimes I want the world to just stop. Let's just breathe and then start again.
Yeah.
But no, nobody wants to stop for any other person. America is saying this, China is saying this, Africa is watching, you know. So at the end of the day, if you were to speak to corporates, I mean organizations, on how to help their staff to have this work life, because it has to be both ways. You have to look for a way, but I'm asking issues around policy that can be proposed for companies that need this kind of counsel.
Yes. And coincidentally, that's what I do as a business consultant. I position myself with the corporate organizations. I've had the opportunity to work with Access Bank very recently, with GT Bank, Nigerian Bar Association, and so many other corporate organizations to help them to look at this thing very keenly. How do you measure productivity? The thing I ask them is they should look at measuring productivity vis-a-vis with holistic wellness for their staff. Because a staff that is hungry and working morning, afternoon, night cannot be productive. A staff that is constantly in meetings morning, afternoon, night, 5 days a week, cannot be as productive. How do you measure the key performance indicators while also having opportunities to give staff, to give a good feedback system about how they are doing at this material moment? You know, so there should be a feedback system. There should be a system in the workplace where management and staff have interface regarding productivity. And they should be able to listen to staff to know these are the shortfalls they're experiencing that is kind of impeding productivity, so that they would allow them. So with the LifeSync Blueprint, we have a framework that enables organizations have LifeSync friendly environment. You know, if some other organizations are doing it, none is coming top of mind right now because of the spur of the moment. But there are places you can put in the office where I know in the bank those days people will go to the cafeteria and just take a nap. There's something called the power nap, and it's 5 minutes, and you can have a 5-minute side gist with your colleague and just be blabbing on something that has no importance. Close your eyes for 5 minutes, even on your desk. It will do amazing things to kind of wake you up at the midday when your body is like trying to your energy level is shutting down. Energy management is a key thing that work organizations need to pay attention to, and the individuals that work in those organizations also need to pay attention to. So there are many ways to go about it, but the organization needs to give opportunities for a good feedback system where employees are able to express what the pain points are, so that you'll be able to bring them in. So when that expression is made, I come in to provide that framework to enable them to. There's a step-by-step guide in this book on how to do it.
It's a great book.
Interesting. I just did some permutations and stuff about the power nap thing, and I don't know why I thought about people abusing it first, because I've seen organizations try to introduce things here and there, and you see that's where people stay, that's where they resume, and then closing, you're like, come on, this is not what this is for. No, so organizations say, no, we're not having it anymore. So obviously there needs to be some sort of structure, help people understand, and that takes me to the point of the environment we're in. I have a challenge with the fact that it's not usually people first. So things are not designed for people. Sometimes laws are not designed for people. It's the people that are designed for the laws. So you don't think about someone wants to build a structure, for example, and you don't think about how people will exist in it, where they will park, how big should the bathroom be, how will the person open the door, where will the door swivel. You open the door halfway and then you're hitting the sink, or you're hitting the water closet. You know, it looks like we don't think about people first. There are people who pay attention to that. So how can we embed this into our culture as well? I mean, you see Japanese schools, for example, where you can recline their chair, it becomes a sort of a bed and they sleep, or in offices, but it's not like a culture thing. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're absolutely correct. There's a lot of work to be done, a whole lot of work. But what I believe is we can only be the change we want to see, starting from ourselves. So from our own little corners, even if it's from our homes, how are we looking at another person and what the other person needs? Then when we get to lead in organizations, we apply that. Sometimes the toxicity some of us face in organizations, it's not because of the organization itself. It's because of the person manning that department, the head of department. You don't work for an organization, you work for your boss. Yeah, that's what I've come to see. Because people run away from the banking industry. I enjoyed the banking industry.
We need to have that conversation another day. How you were able to? I know people have said that. I mean, we had the guest earlier and said you enjoyed it. But go on.
I enjoyed it in terms of the fact that I have this reframing technique where I use challenges and use it as a stepping stone to opportunity. I actually intentionally use my setbacks as a position to come back, so it was challenging, but I was able to navigate it. But when I say I enjoyed it, it made me tap into my potential. The things I didn't know I could achieve, I was able to achieve it. You understand? So we need to, as head of departments in the bank, then I made reference to it because there are certain people I worked with. The job was cool. But certain times when I realize, I'm stressed out, is because of the person that is my boss at that moment.
The weapon fashioned against you.
Yes.
The direct weapon.
Yes.
Fashioned against you.
Yes.
There's a lot we could talk about.
Yes.
We enjoyed this conversation.
Thank
you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
I've never heard live sync experts, so I've met the first one.
The first one.
So,
yes.
Congratulations and thank you for what you do. Monfik Rayan Abu. Your book is Life Sync Blueprints, Practical Principles to Overcome the Burden of Violence. When I saw the title, I was like, this looks like a thesis.
Yeah.
It reminds me of what they call the danger of average in inclusive growth in economics. So I'm happy you're breaking it down for all of us so that we can have a better life. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for
having me. We really appreciate it. And I love to your lovely children. You know why we had to ask again, how many children?
6.
And
the oldest is 20.
The oldest is 7. And the youngest, no, it's not even the oldest that's my problem. It's the youngest. The youngest is my problem. Well, I heard youngest 60, that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
We're coming. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I love to your family.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we will take a quick break. When we come back, it will be time to bring your trends. Yes, we've not forgotten. So Kari will be right here to do it for us. Join us again.